Hi, Brett. How are you?
Very good indeed, thank you.
Thank you very much for sponsoring the events, and thank you for joining Bauer Events video.
No, it's a pleasure.
I've got a couple of questions to ask you about
Sure.
your brand. What inspired you to start on Quantify Technology?
I joined a year ago, and what inspired me was the fact that it was genuinely a better product. I think smart home automation for too long has been too expensive and too complex.
Yeah.
Quantify tries to get rid of all of that and make it a genuinely mass market product.
That's amazing. And what do you wish the architects to know about Quantify Technology?
We're at an inflection point in terms of smart home technology. Today, it will differentiate your home and add value to it. In the future, you simply won't have a home without automation technology. The technology is moving so quickly, the prices are coming down so fast that it's going to become ubiquitous.
Amazing. How do projecting technology impact people's home and then their living and their lifestyle in the next 5 years?
Think about the way that technology has impacted other areas of your life, such as a car. 5 years ago, your car may not have had collision avoidance. 10 years ago, it wouldn't have had anti-locking brakes. 20 years ago, it may not even have had an airbag. Now, those things have been implemented and they make your experience of driving safer, and they also mean that you enjoy it more because you're freed up. The same is exactly happening with smart home automation. It makes every living space better by giving you something more targeted to your needs, by protecting you and by reducing your power bill.
Wow, that's great. A lot of people having the dilemma that smart home technology can be very expensive. Could you tell us how smart home technology, how much it is?
Sure.
Is that affordable? And what are their price ranges?
So when you look at smart home automation, you've got to look at the cost of installation and the cost of the devices. So for us, Harvey Norman, who is our main distributor, is selling for a one-bedroom apartment the devices for anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000, so very cheap. Then the installation cost is the same installation cost as you would have just installing a normal switch. So there is nothing additional that you spend on top of buying the devices, and that's what makes us very different. We are 2 to 3 times cheaper than anyone else in the market.
It's really great that we're having the events at the Bircham and really seeing how Quantify Technology has went live. It's an amazing space that we have here. But can you also tell me that can anyone retrofit Quantify Technology's system in their existing home?
Yes. So our system works equally well in new or second-hand apartments and houses. Typically speaking, where there are 3 wires, we have no problems. With 2 wires, there are some conditions when the 2-wire solution will not work, but I believe that we are the only one in the market who has a 2-wire solution. So yes, we can work equally well in retrofit and new build.
Great. Brett, is there anything that you want to speak to the Chinese professional audience as our last question to the market? Like, is there anything that you want to pass it on to our community?
All I would say is if you invest in the right smart home technology, you will add value to your investment as a property. You will have a more pleasurable life, and you will save money as well because it will reduce your power bill. So everyone is a winner from smart home automation, and it's a great way to differentiate your home today, and in the future it will be simply ubiquitous, which means that everyone will have something like it.
Great. Thank you very much for all of your inputs. Thank you very much. Hey, Natalie.
Hi, Uni.
Thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
I've got a couple of design questions I'd love to get the insights of you.
Of course.
What it is like to be a celebrity interior designer?
Well, look, I've had the privilege of working with a handful of celebrities, and the thing that I found the most is that I think the people that are more travelled and more worldly do expect a higher expectation from what it is that you do because they've seen more and they've done more. So it's a real privilege for me to be able to do anybody's house, regardless of their status or who they are. And, being an interior designer, it's really becoming a part of the family. So you really do get a really lovely bond with whoever it is that you're working with. But it's been a lot of fun to get to work with a couple of the people that I have.
Wow, that's really good to know. Knowing you are very famous for your Hampton style design, could you list the 3 other interior styles that you also adore, and why is that?
Yeah, it's a really good question because we've been doing the Hampton style now for probably over 15 years, and it was a style that I really fell into because it was something that I loved. But what has actually happened is that we've started to evolve to do things like British colonial, plantation style, which still has more of a coastal feel to it as well, and also then bringing those all together as an eclectic style, I think can really start emulating people's character within and underneath the Hamptons banner.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question from the designer side.
Yes.
Name 3 colors from Dulux or other paint suppliers that you think that will never go wrong in a design of Hampton style home.
Yeah, really good question, because Hampton style is always about neutrals and whites, but everybody gets whites very, very wrong. So a couple of colours that are really no-brainers to go to are lexicon, and you can do lexicon in quarter or half. You can do hog's bristle, which is a little bit more of a taupe tone, or you can look at Whit Sunday, which again has got a bit of a greyish undertone, which people are starting to like a lot more now.
Wow, I can really take on this advice for my next design as well. What are the must-have iconic decoration for Hampton home?
Well, some of the must-haves are things like, if you're looking externally, are things like cladding.
Yep.
It's that weatherboard look which really emulates that coastal Hamptons feel. Internally, you're looking at things like the wainscoting and shiplap to actually add layers. But as far as the decor is concerned, anything that's sort of natural with jutes and linens, and then accessorising with beautiful cushions and blue and white, ginger jars and beautiful pieces of coral to really layer everything together. Looks gorgeous.
Wow, that's great tricks. What is so special about Quantify Technology, and then how does it impact to your design and then also your clients' feedbacks?
Yeah, well, look, it's a really good question, because beforehand when we used other product, I really shied away from it. A couple of reasons is that they're really quite clunky to design into a house. You need to have like a separate room or an area. There's lots of wires and it's very complicated, to the extent that the clients actually don't even know how to use the product. So when this was brought to my attention, it was just so easy to use. It was very simple to put into the home as well. It was easily to be upgraded at any time, and it just seemed to be very, very seamless. And it's also a really stylish look, which is something that I was looking for, because again, beforehand, to see big iPads on a wall really didn't suit the sort of style that I was doing. So these are very streamlined, very seamless, and just look really lovely in a home.
That's great. Thank you very much for your time, Natalie.
My pleasure.
Enjoy the rest of the night.
Thanks, Uni. I
Thank you.
appreciate your time too.
Thanks.